Hi again, folks. John and Kevin. We're back looking at some new things, and we have kind of a whole spray setup that we have to look through today. We have a Fuji Spray D6.
Brand new sprayer from Fuji.
Six-stage
turbine. So if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, this is an HVLP gun. So high volume, low pressure. The spray system's all self-contained. You don't need an air compressor, a big tank, or anything like this. HVLPs have been around for a long time. One of the advantages for HVLPs, especially for the kind of the DIY home hobbyists, when you're spraying with air, it requires a large volume of air, and you need a big compressor because a little compressor just can't keep up. And if you're a guy, you know, like myself, I have a little shop. I'm not going to compare him because he's got like a 60 by 80 shop, so he has that big compressor.
Do I?
Yeah, somewhere. And anyway, HVLP guns, you can use these anywhere. It creates its own flow of air. And because of the system, you can spray and just about anything. One of the claims with this new Fuji gun, or Fuji turbine, is that it can spray any material, theoretically, any material undiluted, meaning it doesn't need to be thinned down, which that's kind of been one of the things. John and I have tested HVLP guns in the past, and that has kind of been one of the knocks that we've probably consistently given on almost every one we've tested. We don't spray a lot of paint, but if you do spray paint, this would probably, when we were looking at HVLP guns in the past, probably not the perfect thing for you because you had to dilute that paint. It's just, it doesn't have that pressure to push that through those fine tips. And
really to atomize it and get a nice...
Yeah, to get it atomized and get it to lay down and not create orange peel or just a mess, you have to dilute it. This turbine has claimed that it doesn't need to do that. We're excited about testing this out. And,
just to see what...
Right, exactly, because I mean, I think this is a big thing. It hasn't just brand new, but you know, people like to get old furniture and fix it up and paint it, you know, kind of create a fresh look with an old piece of furniture they got at an estate sale or an auction or something. So anyway, with all that, Fuji sent us the entire kit.
We've been going through the quick guide, trying to
They do basically, they right off the bat, you open the box, you got, hey, a smart quick start guide. It kind of goes through what's in the kit. And just briefly, you're going to end up with a turbine. One thing that I noticed immediately by looking at this, disclaimer, I own a Fuji sprayer, a later generation.
But you have the Q series.
I have the Q series, which is prior to this.
And it's a lot different than
It's a lot different. Yeah. It's a great machine. I love it. This has a lot more filters on it. It filters more filters for the motor, or that intake for that, and more filters for the turbine side too, which we'll go through that a little bit. This has a remote control, which is new. And I'm honestly thinking, I was like, what would you need a remote control for on your sprayer? But there's a lot of times, if you're spraying something that has doors or drawers, we will be showing this off, and you'll get to go see our spray booth. Not everybody has a spray booth at home, but you are moving parts and pieces around.
Yeah.
And to stop the machine so you're not having to go over to the switch, you can hang your gun up, pause the machine, put this door on, move this door in, type of thing. I can see that.
Well, and just like I was spraying this morning, and at the end of the session, because I was spraying for about an hour, the hose was hot.
Yeah.
So I try to get my turbine shut off so I'm not heating up the air that's running through the gun.
Yeah, and that's one thing about an HVLP gun in general. It's very hard. I mean, it's creating heat, and that heat does eventually, it's coming through your air into feeding your gun. It's heating that finish, which...
Yeah, especially the harder it's working. Because there are two warnings on this that I just love. It says, please keep turbine 15 to 20 feet away from the spray area, which would be nice for the remote control because you keep the turbine a little further away. And it says always keep the turbine on the floor while spraying. So we are evaluating our life choices.
Yeah.
up to this point with kind of what we do, because both of ours are on carts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I get it. We're able to keep the turbine away from our spray area, but we have to move where we spray. It's not just
us.
Yeah. So we have our own individual cart we keep our sprayers on. But anywho,
what should we open first?
well, let's go with the
big boy?
Let's see this brand new turbine
Okay.
from Fuji.
Okay, I'll look at the user manual. You want to pull that out?
Yeah, I'll get the remote control.
Damn. Okay, I got the cord. What do you get?
I got the carabiner.
I got this. What you got?
I'll get this. I don't know how heavy that is, so. All right. So, all joking aside, these are compact units. I mean, obviously, if you were to have if you wanted to spray with air, you're going to have a lot more. Obviously, you're going to have a compressor, and you're going to have a big compressor. So this is kind of nice that this is compact. If you're wanting to get into doing your own spray finishing, there are a lot of manufacturers right now of these guys, but I will tell you, this is just off the bat. Is that cast aluminum? Feels like. I believe so. That's very nice. So I believe we'll probably have to read a little bit more about this. Because I think you can access your filters from these two things. I think.
But how to open them?
Well, I think they may just rotate. I think that's what the indications.
Oh.
Yeah.
Unlock.
So I think those just do that. It does look like it has filters in there, and what you end up with is two outer filters on the ends that are relatively thin, and then that is for, I believe, the turbine intake.
So it's not one of those things where you take the filters out when you need to race.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. You just leave those.
It also has a HEPA filter on this end.
Oh, okay. Now you're gonna.
So it's really, it's looking for clean air, which is good, right?
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, on this end it is.
And then this little doodad here, it's kind of nice. You can actually hang your spray gun off of that.
That's probably the biggest thing is if you're going to have an oopsie, it's usually your gun falls to its death.
Yep.
So
that's quick. That's easy.
Yeah.
Toolless.
Heck yeah.
So moving on, you basically end up with I'm guessing this is, I don't know how the length on this is, if it even says 30 foot. 30 foot of hose. Plus you end up with this, I think this looks like a 5 or 6 foot little whip. This is a heavy duty hose. It's a lot like a oversized garden hose, but basically this is what you basically have up to this whip, and then you're going to connect your gun to this. This is a little bit lighter weight, a little more flexible, so if you're spraying stuff, you can certainly hold on to this and get around that piece of furniture, get inside of a piece of furniture. A lot easier than this. This just doesn't flex a whole lot. It obviously does once it gets warm. But that connects to your gun. And with this setup, we received Fuji has they've got several options for you as far as your preference on guns. This is their model, I believe it's the T70. It's basically a bottom feed, 1 quart capacity. These are bulletproof. I have one of these personally. They're a great gun, easy controls. Control your fan, control your volume. And I know that Fuji provides all these little doodads, accessories like the filters, these hoses. So you can replace that stuff. Stuff gets gunky. New
Rebuild
gaskets.
it, new
Yep,
gasket,
you can
yeah.
rebuild these easily. This comes with the 1.3 tip. I know Fuji has a myriad of tips that you can put on these guns, along with basically what you end up with is a tip and then a nozzle here, and then it has its own needle. So those three pieces, that tip, needle, all get replaced each time you want to change your tip or change your spray.
Yeah.
And that is simply because you're looking at if you're spraying lacquer, you know, or if you're spraying water base, or if you're spraying paint, those tips are going to vary quite a bit.
And they actually have that in the manual.
Okay.
They have a whole chart with, they call it air cap set size. So what are you spraying, what you need in that for your, you know, what we're saying nozzle or needle.
Right.
It tells you
So
viscosity. Yeah. And then
So they come in these little kits, and basically you can pick and
Yeah.
mix and match whatever you want.
so what's that, like a 1/8?
This is a 1.8.
So they're saying oil-based primer, waterborne paint, waterborne primer. The
Yeah.
the 1.3 that comes with it, they say it's perfect for a sander sealer, varnish, clear lacquer, polyurethane. I don't know if that's oil or it has to be water-based poly, I'd think. And then by the time you get to pigmented lacquer, they want the 1 of 5.
What about the 2.5?
2.5? That's like full send.
You can spray.
That's called extra high. No, that's 2.5?
We've got a 2.5, right?
Do you have a 2.5 in your possession?
I don't know that I do. So
I
it
don't-
goes as high as 2.
Oh, I only see a 2 under waterborne primer.
Okay.
So they must be doing spray on bed liner or something.
They're spraying outdoors, basement exteriors. Yeah.
Yeah, waterproofing basements with it.
Waterproof basements with it. Nope. So bottom line, this 1.3, I think, is going to cover a lot of stuff that we would use in the shop.
Yeah.
The paint thing, which I'm curious to do with this, because we have an air system that we do most of our paint with. So it'd be nice to be able to find something that you could do paint with.
What I like on this, your control fluid nozzle on the back, it tells you how many turns from closed.
Okay.
So it gives you
Well, exactly.
that is nice for someone just starting out.
Well, it's nice for anybody, to be honest with you, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we're going to spray with this thing, and we will do some video with us spraying with this. We'll talk about spraying, because this will be about this machine, but we're also going to talk a lot about just in general kind of tips and tricks to spraying, because a lot of people are afraid to get into these systems because it just seems like a lot too much, scary. And honestly, once you start spraying and once you figure it out, you probably will throw away your brushes and figure out, how can I spray this from now on?
Yeah.
You put out a really good finish with these machines. So they did send along. I do not know if this was part of this kit, but this is something you definitely want. This has every little gadget, brush, needle thing to clean. Yes, and you will need
to clean.
Yeah, you will need to keep this clean, and if you don't, it will backfire on you, because what happens, you can't get an even spray pattern if your gun's not clean. That's not going to happen, and you're going to get overlap that gives you hot spots, and you can see stripes in your finish, and bad things happen. So one thing I highly recommend is when you use the gun. John and I definitely have broken this rule, but we do try to get these things clean, and they do perform much better. But that's about it for this kit. It looks like you got a little viscosity cup, comes with a wrench to be able to change the tip. So I'm interested to see how the remote control works. And
Is this for your license plate? What's this for? Oh, okay, I got it. It's your thickness gauge. It almost looked like what you put on the.
yeah.
I got my renewal. Always measure particle. Sorry, I gotta try, I'm just for fun. So does it know that I don't have, okay.
So you can control basically how many stages you're running. Or is that just basically a not a stage thing, a level thing? You didn't read that, did you?
What's, that's getting after it. Because they have a little carabiner for this. I mean, just click on here or even have it right near the gun. But make sure you do not lose this. That's the...
Yeah, yeah.
the-
Or you're going to be doing the old-fashioned method, right? Huh?
yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, I think the next time we'll see you on with this machine, we will be in the spray booth. Hey guys, welcome to the spray booth. We are kind of in the dungeon of our building, and we're here with the D6 Fuji Spray turbine. This is their latest model, and we have previous video unboxed it, kind of went through it a little bit. So here we are down here. We want to actually show using this machine. Brand new model from their Q series. This is their latest and greatest. It is a 6-stage, if you remember correctly, 6-stage turbine, and it basically just you can dial this up as you want. Just real quickly, typically John and I do quite a bit of spraying with the HVLP type guns, and normally in furniture or doing cabinets and that sort of thing, you're probably going to be at the highest turbine setting that you can set up. Using those lower stages, or the 1 or 2 or 3, typically is when you're doing kind of smaller, finer, maybe we're spraying a toy or spraying something small where you really don't need that much volume and you really don't need that much material coming out. So for today's demonstration, one, we're set up here with the bottom mount cup gun. We have loaded this with some water, so we wouldn't have to wear our mask today. So just so you know, when we're spraying, we do wear our respirators. It does have a fan, but we're just spraying water just so you can get an idea of how this machine works, how the gun works. Couple things on the gun. You've got your fan adjustment here, which will take it down to basically a 0 or a pretty wide fan, and we can kind of demonstrate that when we get this going. So that adjusts that. Typically we're using it from all the way out to probably 6 or so inches wide of a fan. And then back here is going to control your material volume. So a lot of times when John and I spray, we've kind of got our guns dialed into where we want them, but it's always a good idea to start on some cardboard. Down here in the spray booth, usually we'll just put up a piece of cardboard there and then give it a good shot with this and dial in our settings before we get to our project. Kind of avoids a little bit of a, oops, you got finish running down the side of your cabinet type of thing.
Yeah, well, and to your point, a lot of times we're running a higher setting on the HVLP, so pick your speed on that and then make your adjustments on this.
Right.
And that's why we're usually on the higher speeds, because it just gives you more options.
Right.
So there are variables there. It's just, kind of
right.
divide and conquer.
Yeah, and it may seem a little intimidating. It's not. Honestly, it's really easy to dial it into where you feel comfortable with the amount of material you're putting on. I'd say one of the biggest mistakes for newbies is not putting on enough material. You want to kind of keep a wet edge, and if you're not putting enough material on like a panel, for example, this could be flashing off over on this side, and you're putting on wet. It could create some issues for you with finish. So make sure you have plenty of material coming out. The only other real adjustment on these is the ability to loosen your collar and adjust the spray nozzle. So whether you want to spray flat or you want to spray vertical, just kind of depends on which way you're going. So that's easy to adjust, and obviously you can put it at an angle if you like. So, so other than that, cup's pretty easy to use. Get a little cam lock there. You fill your product up. Make sure you get that lock down good and tight. I think we're ready to spray.
I'll go stand in the corner.
Okay. Well, you can actually turn on that big fan if you want to.
I'll be back.
So we're turning the unit on, and we're gonna go all the way up. So I don't know if you guys caught that, but when I was adjusting that fan, you could see how much wider and how much narrower it can get pretty quick. So there's only about a quarter turn in that knob right here, and it adjusts really quickly. So what I was doing is just kind of adjusting that before I start spraying, and then while I get spraying, because it's kind of noisy, I'm going to spray across. I'm going to start the furthest away from me, and the key here is to keep that gun. And you can notice the cup's almost horizontal here. That feed tube actually goes down in there and will catch that fluid in the bottom, so that's no worries. But I'm starting at the top. I'm starting off the board. I pull the trigger and engage that. I'm spraying across. After I pass that edge, you then let go of the trigger. Don't let go of the trigger at that edge. You're not going to waste that much material. Then I come back, and what I'm doing, I'm just doing overlapping runs. So I'm kind of looking to be about 50% of what I'm spraying, I'm covering that again. The other thing is, you're trying to stay 6-8 inches is roughly away from the material, and you're spraying in a horizontal manner. If you're spraying vertical, same thing, okay? The other thing is to remember, don't get here and start spinning your gun like this, like, oh, I can do it all from one spot. Because what happens is you're going to get a lot of finish here and not so much out here. So you're going to get very, very uneven finish. So stay parallel to that piece you're spraying. Keep it steady, back and forth. So we'll do a little quick demo on that. The other thing is your rate of movement. That is going to be kind of adjusting the amount of material coming out of your gun is how quick you move too. You notice I just moved at a nice steady pace. I wasn't stopping because you'll flood that area pretty quick with whatever you're spraying. So the only other thing I think to talk about, two quick little tip here when you're depressurizing this gun, because this is pressurized. And if you don't want material sprayed all over yourself, they recommend dropping this little tube off of the cup, or slowly open that up just like that. Just be mindful that there is pressure in that, and when you undo that, you could end up with lacquer sprayed all over yourself. So the manual clearly talks about tips and nozzles and that sort of thing for products that you want to use, whether it be lacquer or water base. They have tips all the way up for latex paint. So that will adjust, and you will need to have those tips. There are several different, I forget how many tips that these guys carry, but they carry a wide spectrum of nozzles and tips and the needle that goes inside the gun. So Do you want to spray something more? Do you want to spray, John?
I don't know if I'm allowed to touch the gun.
Yeah, yep. You can touch it.
No, I was just throwing this on. Well, that's not flat. I was thinking, what if let's turn the fan control on the front, so you can go this way. I mean, that was one thing that I took away just watching that. Like, once you start spray finishing, like to do a panel so fast,
right,
it's like you can't go back. It's very hard to go back.
It is
to a brush once you start doing this. So anyway, I was just thinking we go up down this way, and maybe we try to dial in. Maybe we run it at 3 or 4.
Okay.
And see what that does, and just play around with it.
Well, here, I will.
Oh, I
will
too?
attach this for you, and I'll go run the big fan.
Okay. I thought you said this was water.
Yeah.
I got that on there good and heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing while I was watching you do that kind of reminded me of another reason. Obviously, that worked just fine, right? You're dialed down to 3, get a nice even coat of material on there, but doing a small panel, no problem. But if you're doing a big old tabletop, you
gotta move.
You're gonna have to move a little bit faster, just so, because one of the things that happens with spraying, I guess, is if this end starts to dry up a little bit and you're still spraying, I mean, some of that material is bouncing up, okay, and especially if you're spraying a chair or something like that, or a piece of furniture where you're spraying the top, and that fallout, that material is drying as it's actually falling out of the air. It can cause kind of some of those areas to be pretty rough. So keep that in mind when you're working with bigger surfaces, that you want to move quickly. This obviously this isn't going to dry by the time you got over here, so no worries.
What is the dry time on this?
The water? I don't know. It's pretty dry already.
Yeah, you can see it raised the grain on this.
So John and I spray a lot of pre-cat lacquer. We spray a lot of waterborne finishes. Because they dry fast, and that is another thing that's really nice about this, is you can lay down a coat of this. We'll put a fan on this, and probably 20 minutes in the right temperature conditions, 20 minutes easily, you can come back, scuff sand this, and be able to lay another coat on. So it's really easy to completely finish a piece of furniture in a day, no problem. Mm-hmm. So I think the biggest problem is you kind of forget that what you're doing, and you wander off to do something else and forget that your piece of furniture is dry. You could put another coat on. So, but this will work equally as well for oil-based finishes too. Your cleanup, and I will stress this, that why these guns are very easy to use. They're easy to clean. Not cleaning them well will cause you problems. So make sure you get it good and clean. If you're, whether it's water or lacquer thinner or whatever it is, paint thinner, whatever you need to use on it, make sure you get it good and clean, so the next time you use it, there's not a lot of drama. The other thing on HVLP guns, this is disposable. That little tube assembly can be replaced easily.
Consumable.
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 And they do get clogged. So other than that, anything else?
Man, it's nice when these are new.
Yeah, they're very,
soft.
very flexible, soft.
Usually have to soak them in lacquer thinner.
Yeah.
No, this is a nice setup. You use a lot of gravity feeds.
Yep.
So Kevin has the tank on the top.
Right.
This is what I'm used to, is the siphon. But no, this was very intuitive. I mean, nice to be able to just, you just tell it what you want it to do. Let's see if I can get it there. There we go.
Yeah. And then, I don't know if we mentioned this in the unboxing, but this comes with a nice long hose, and you do not want your turbine sitting right here in your spray booth. We're just doing that so you can see that. You want that thing, you want it outside the spray booth where it's sucking clean air. It does have some great filters on there, but they will.
Yeah, you'll get this
It'll
little
look
light
like these
here.
filters back here pretty quick.
You're going to get the little check light filter. You don't want that to come on. So,
Right.
Yeah, you
Right.
want it. But
Yeah.
even that. Well, cool. Well, and with that, we're going to sign off for now. We have several projects coming up, so we're going to keep testing this and kind of figuring out. I know you'll have a setting you'll like, I'll have a setting I like, and we can talk about that later. So we'll have yet another follow-up, kind of a 2.5 wrap-up.
Yeah, and I think,
thing.
we're just demonstrating this is the easiest thing you can spray is a flat panel.
Yeah.
We've got pieces of furniture that are got ins and outs and whatever, so
yeah.
I think gives it a little bit more of a true test to what, but we will get back to you in a couple weeks.
But yeah, be sure to like and subscribe, and then also tell us, because we're figuring this out too.
Yeah.
What you want to know about spray finishing.
Yeah.
And we can try to answer those questions too.
Right.
So.
We know enough to be dangerous. See you next time.